Hello, I'm Phil Smart. In this video, I'll present snippets from two destination-related talks I gave on the Rhapsody of the Seas in April 2015. My first talk on the ship is about the world's largest sand islands. These lie along the Queensland coast, and fortunately we're sailing right past them tomorrow morning. These sand islands have many marvellous heritage features which I'll be showing you, and I'll also explain how and when these sand islands were formed. Before I start, I thought I'd better give you some of my background. I was trained at Queensland University, which is one of Australia's 6 sandstone universities. I graduated in 1969 with an honours degree in geology. I looked around for a graduation photo and I struggled, but this was the best I could come up with. I think you can see that's proof that I'm well qualified to give this talk. Let's get back to the Queensland coast and these World Heritage assets. Well, the one that everybody's heard about is the Great Barrier Reef. It extends over 2,300 kilometres of coastline. But a lesser known one are the Sand Islands, which start just north of Surfers Paradise on the Gold Coast and stretch past Moreton Bay up to Fraser Island. These Sand Islands are unrivalled anywhere in the world. Here's where the Rhapsody's docking tomorrow morning, just down the river from Brisbane, and I can show you where we will have sailed past these sand islands. The first one, South Stradbroke, right through 4 sand islands, and we wind up crossing Moreton Bay in order to reach our destination in the river. Let's have a look at that bay. Because it's fed by coastal rivers and it's protected by these sand islands, it fills with sediment. You can see the dark pattern, and so you would expect the bay to be very shallow, which it is in most parts. However, there is a shipping lane and it comes in around the top of Moreton Island and you can dock in the river. The reason we have this deep water is it's an old river channel, a river channel that is now 50 metres below sea level. That's about 180 feet. That is evidence of a big sea level rise that has occurred in our recent geological past. And it also helps to explain part of how the sand islands got to be here. So far I've spoken about these 4 sand islands that are around Moreton Bay, but let's have a look at the biggest and best. Fraser Island is the one that has attracted World Heritage status, and on the coast, just south of Fraser Island, are the Kalula Sands. These are magnificent sand cliffs deposited in exactly the same way as the Sand Islands. Both of these have become known as the Great Sandy National Park. But they were granted World Heritage status. Fraser Island, why? Because it's the world's biggest sand island. And Moreton Island is the world's 2nd biggest sand island. It also holds the highest coastal dune at 285 metres. That's made of pure white quartz sand, a beautiful mountain of sand. Here's the east coast of Fraser Island, and you can see that it stretches over quite a long distance. The World Heritage listing came in 1992, and that was the end of 2 things that had been causing destruction on the island. One of those was logging that had been going on since the 19th century, and the other was sand mining, mining for minerals, titanium and zircon, in the heavy minerals that are piled up on the island. That all stopped in 1992. So what we're left with is an island that's pretty much pristine, 124 kilometres long and up to 22 kilometres wide. It has 40 perched freshwater lakes. That mightn't seem significant to you, but there's fewer than 80 of these lakes in the world, and they are beautiful, gorgeous things. There are also 3 fast-flowing, crystal-clear creeks. You can see your toes in the bottom. Tall rainforest is growing in sand. This is the only place in the world where tall rainforest trees are growing in sand. In fact, sand is such a poor soil that it usually has stunted vegetation. But here's part of the rainforest, and there's one of the crystal clear creeks winding its way through the rainforest. You can see it's a very lush rainforest made up of many typical rainforest species. So how does this happen? Well, it's all down to a fungus that lives in the sand and makes plant nutrients to help these trees to grow. In amongst the forest there are some ancient species. Some of these go right back to the days when Australia was part of a great southern supercontinent that included South America, South Africa, India, Madagascar, Antarctica and ourselves. And when Gondwana broke up, these trees are found on several of the remnant parts. They're found here in Fraser Island, the Kauri pine, and in New Zealand and up on New Caledonia. Another ancient remnant of those days is a very interesting plant called the strangler fig. It befriends a lovely tall tree, climbs up around it, but then it strangles its host and the tree dies, and that becomes the tree structure. Rainforest is not the only type of spectacular forest on Fraser Island. In parts, there are these tall eucalypt stands, and you don't find those growing in sand in many places around the world. They're pretty rare. And in the understory, just to remind you that it was once part of Gondwana, this ancient southern land, here's a Zamia palm that goes back to those early days. Now, I've focused this talk so far, it's this short talk, on the rainforest and the other forests. But in fact, there are many, many other features that I haven't got time to show you in this short clip. For example, these leached dunes, the iron gets leached down through them and leaves many interesting colours ranging from cream, yellow, orange, red, brown to black, and they're very striking cliffs. The coastal dune sequence that is found on this island gives a very impressive record of more than 700,000 continuous years that show sea level changes and climatic changes that have affected the planet globally. Another important issue on the island, another feature, is the wetlands. About 40,000 migratory shorebirds stop off coming from down south heading to Siberia every year. And the last thing I have time to mention today is the unique dingo population. Dingoes are native dogs brought here by the Aboriginals about 40 to 50,000 years ago. In most parts of Australia, these dogs have interbred with domestic animals, and so the breed's been corrupted. But on Fraser Island, we have found the purest strain, and so any research you need to do about the dingoes can be done there. Thank you.